Alright, so Akuma has invaded the Tekken franchise as an actual canon member of the story from Street Fighter. Well, what if I did the reverse and made Kazuya and Heihachi canon members of the Street Fighter 2 roster? More specifically, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Japan!
Okay, so as usual, I'm not making the Mishima's guest characters in Street Fighter. I want them to actually be members of the roster. Some of that good old fighting game multiverse that I be doing on this channel. The problem is this becomes partially challenging when trying to keep their overall feel and importance to that of Tekken, surprisingly more so for Heihachi than Kazuya. If we're running with the ideas of the Mishimas entering the World Warrior Tournament, since the King of Iron Fist shouldn't exist, then Kazuya's story should be pretty simple. He still possesses the Devil Gene, and it was activated after he was thrown off a cliff as a little boy. However, while Kazuya sees getting revenge on his father as a goal, his power attracts the attentions of the likes of Bison and Akuma. Bison would likely sense his power similar to how he looks for Ryu's power, only he would try to recruit Kazuya and it would fail. Not wanting to quit, Bison would easily seek Kazuya's Devil Gene for his own personal use, and Kazuya, the manipulator that he is, may question the thought of going a step further than actually joining Shado and instead just overthrowing Bison altogether. That actually seems wild enough for a former Tekken character that appears in Street Fighter. There's nothing shocking to me about Kazuya trying to take over Shado. As for Akuma, a crossing of paths and an acknowledgement of both devil and demon would be all the two of them need to create ongoing standoffs, at least until the day they were both ready to fight to the death. Though Akuma may have some other priorities as well. We'll get to that. Now for his father Heihachi. The challenge of placing Heihachi in Street Fighter is that in Tekken, he's not only extremely powerful, but he's a focal point even at times when he's not present in the story. While he wouldn't be the focal point in Street Fighter, that's still Ryu, he would have to be extremely important given how strong he is and the fact that, like Bison, he is seemingly unkillable. I've done a whole video on this fact alone. There's nothing that can ever be done to get rid of Heihachi. So how does he fit? Well, the best way I can see it is to measure himself against the world's monsters. Like in Tekken, Heihachi would be aware through his wife Kazumi that he murders, that the Devil Gene actually exists. Hell, it's the reason he tosses Kazuya off a cliff in the first place. But what surprises him is his entry in the World Warrior Tournament. He would learn through fighters like Bison, Ryu, hell, even people like Blanca, that there are extreme and almost freakish levels of power that he's completely unaware of. Between that and discovering the Shado, it would unlock the need in his mind to create the Mishima Zaibatsu, even in the world of Street Fighter. The knowledge that these other forces exist almost further inspires Heihachi to seek the power to control and change the world. However, in seeking power and the apex predator of this world, he would learn that his answer isn't Bison, it's Akuma. Akuma seeking Heihachi for a debt to pay to his wife Kazumi would create a confrontation that further cements Heihachi's goals of world dominance. Heihachi would grow as a character not from defeating anyone, but simply knowing that Bison and Akuma exist, alongside his son that may or may not be the devil at this point. All of this changes the entire landscape of Street Fighter. The war being fought isn't against Shado, it's against the Zaibatsu as well. Hopefully this is making some sense so far. Now onto their looks. Neither Kazuya or Heihachi's looks need to change that much to fit into the 2D world of Street Fighter, they just need to be simplified a tad bit. For Kazuya, the challenge was dumbing down his look to fit the simple balance of the early 90s Street Fighter designs. I personally love his current Tekken designs, but the pant leg emblems that he has on the sides, I can't necessarily put on this outfit because, keeping in mind that these were hand-drawn sprites, it would get very tedious to work on to do that design on one simple leg on each left and right sprite over time. Considering time is money in fighting games, I don't think people would really be wanting to do that. So I went with Kazuya's original Tekken look, and I mean from Tekken's 1, 2, and Tag Tournament. Now, that still didn't mean that I didn't add unnecessary detail that probably also shouldn't be added, but just to make Kazuya look more like Kazuya. Like the studs on his gloves and the actual belt design that he has in his later outfits that he didn't have in his original. This keeps his attire plain, but also keeps him looking exactly how he should look to read like Kazuya, and a design that could have been made by Capcom. Now, considering how meticulously I went to make sure I didn't give Kazuya an asymmetrical design that became tedious to work on, I disregarded that entirely for Heihachi. It would have been easy to give Heihachi the iconic gi he's had in past Tekken games, but I really love the Tekken 8 Heihachi redesign with the half gi, or at least for his top. So I gave that to him in this one, just because I felt like it would look different from Street Fighter and set him apart from the likes of Ken, Ryu, and Akuma. Technically, Goken doesn't officially have a look yet. Hell, I don't even think he has a name at the time of Street Fighter 2. I also gave Heihachi his older look when I was initially drawing him, just because personally, I'm a fan of older characters in Street Fighter. The JPs, the Gens, and the Gokens of the world. But being honest, Heihachi's Tekken 2 look probably fits him more, so for the benefit of the rest of this remaining video, that's the design you're probably going to see more than anything else. Now, normally this is the section where I would do an absolutely amazing job of fine crafting a moveset from one series to the next. That portion of the video where I find examples in 2 different series and sees what works best and find the perfect type of moveset for the game that I'm placing them in. Okay, no one's buying any of that. If most of you can remember, I don't need to necessarily come up with the Kazuya and Heihachi playstyle for Street Fighter because one kind of already exists. They were both featured in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Their moveset would essentially be the simple task of taking the Capcom fighting game that they've already been placed in and just simplifying it further to fit Super Street Fighter Turbo. Honestly, this is a rare time that my job is made easier in this respect, but I don't want to let myself off the hook too much here, so I added an extra step into their Street Fighter displacement. I created 2 stages for both father and son. Likely they wouldn't get individual stages in the game, but for the sake of this challenge, I'm doing it anyways. For the first stage, Heihachi's, I wanted something that looked like a nice starting point in Japan for Heihachi to start building the Zaibatsu, an old abandoned temple of some sort to start his empire, maybe a bit of a Mishima Citadel. I even have Zaibatsu flags scattered about in the background for him. Just seems like a cool little environment for Heihachi, and one that seems like it would fit well in the world of Street Fighter. I'm personally enthralled with the look of Kazuya being seen deep within the burning G-Corp headquarters in Tekken 7. I wanted a stage that resembles that level of dark and potential evil, so I created a burning warehouse with some kind of graded sort of platform to fight on top of in the foreground. The base art that I created, I used the AI generator to boost that up some to create exactly what I was looking for in Capcom's art style. And what it gave me was more or less what I was looking for, except for the fact that it took broken pillars that were in the background and created a ton of them, and they almost look like crucifixes. Not my intention, but boy does it look exactly like what I was imagining for Kazuya. Honestly, Akuma pulling up in this stage looks like it fits better than him showing up in Bison's actual Street Fighter 2 stage to me. This was exactly what I had in mind. Being honest, these are one of those cases of 2 characters from closely resembling fighting game franchises and blending them in easily. However, because of the level of importance to the Tekken franchise, doing both Kazuya and Heihachi justice was my most important detail when putting this whole thing together that I needed to stick to. You tell me in the comments how well the Mishimas would have fared if they were original Capcom characters in 1994. Also, sidebar, for anybody making requests for crossover fighting games, I haven't forgotten about you. I just got a crazy backlog of characters and general redesigns that I would like to get to, and I need to keep in mind designs that I'm interested in that I'm not going to have burnout from over time, and the balance of that and making sure that what I do doesn't get buried deep within YouTube's algorithm like some of my recent ones have. There's a lot of redesigns that aren't showing up in any of you guys' timelines, even with notifications on for whatever reason, and I don't know why that's happening. In any event, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and you all have a good one, and I'm out.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select and make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one.